Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the United Star and to the first episode of what we are calling the guest cast with Adam from MUSC, New South Wales, and Dean from B Musk, that is the official supporters club of Manchester United in Brisbane. Today, we're here to talk about our latest signing, Donny VanDeBeek. We're going to do a statistical and tactical breakdown of what Donny VanDeBeek brings to this Manchester United team and how he's going to help Ole win us something this season. So let me take it straight to Adam and ask you your initial thoughts about what you think about VanDeBeek and how excited are we to have him here.
Yeah, very excited. It's good to actually finally get a signing considering what Chelsea's been doing. So, everyone was really worried about whether we're going to sign someone. So it was very good to get Van der Beek. And, look, a lot of us haven't seen him do a lot. But in the Champions League last year, we got to see a little bit of him last year. So it's very exciting news to see another boy coming into the midfield, and everyone's going to be playing for their position now. So that's one thing we've been calling for, is to fight for that position. So Ollie's stepped up again. So fingers crossed he's having a shot tomorrow.
That we definitely hope for that. The sooner the better. Dean, what's going around is that he's going to be for somewhere around the 40 to 45 million euro region, and the wages are going to be somewhere around 120,000 a week. Do you think that we've got him for a steal, and how do you think sort of this price point came about, and what are your views on that?
To be honest, I think it's an absolute bargain. Coming through the Ajax youth system and all that sort of stuff, technically brilliant player. In this day and age, with the way that the world is at the moment, fees should be coming down. Maybe Borussia Dortmund might listen to us here and drop their asking price on a certain somebody. But, absolutely steal, and as Adam said, we haven't probably seen a lot of him, but, the way that Ajax competed in the Champions League last few years, and just knowing the Ajax Academy and what they produce is just brilliant. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him.
Right. I absolutely agree. And in fact, the fact that we were going to sign Jack Grealish, who I think is a very good player, but is definitely not worth 80 million pounds or thereabouts. So getting Donny van de Beek, who may or may not be proved to be as good as him for less than half the price, is an absolute bargain in my opinion as well. Priyan, coming to you, what I want to understand from you is, where do you think Van de Beek fits into the scheme of things? What kind of position do you see him occupying?
Okay, so Van der Beek initially is traditionally an attacking midfielder, and it's only recently after Frenkie de Jong left Ajax that he sort of transitioned into a much more deep-lying midfield role. So I would see him continue that role. I think even though he's not that experienced, he has only one season in his pocket playing in that role, I think, but he's performed pretty well for Ajax in that position. I think he would, for United, he would be in a sort of the first season, Ole will try and play him around a little and see which position suits him the best and which suits the team the best, because we have a very solid midfield right now with Matic and Bruno and Pogba, obviously, but we know Matic can't play all games in the season, so it's probably it'll be good to shield Matic for the big Champions League games and the important games, and not play him day in day out.
Right. Dean, do you look at Donny van de Beek as an understudy to a Bruno Fernandes and a Matic, or do you see him actually starting? And how do you think the shape would look like if Van de Beek, Bruno and Pogba would be starting day in and day out? Do you think we'd be defensively weak? Because our defenders definitely do need that cover. We've seen that.
Yeah, to be honest, I think it's a good challenge for Pogba and Bruno, to have good competition, behind him, knowing that there's potentially another superstar behind him, at the moment we look a bit weak. Fred and Scott McTominay did a brilliant job while Pogba and the likes were injured. And, Scott McTominay's a player that plays for Manchester United, he's a club boy. You can see the passion in him and stuff like that. But I think Donny's going to bring a lot of technically skilled performances and, really help that midfield be strong. And, if we're playing at Old Trafford, I want to see all three starting and Matic can have a rest, because I think we should be attacking at Old Trafford.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Adam, do you agree with that? Because I'm looking, the heat map of Van de Beek is on your screens as well, and I'm looking at it, and it shows that he plays often through the right. he is more leaning towards the right. He doesn't occupy those central positions. So what do you think? What are your...
So he plays a little bit of an 8 role. So that look, the last thing I think, look, I watched a little bit, done a bit of homework on him before I came online, and you know, you don't want him to drop defensively. I don't think, even though he's a box-to-box player, I think you're losing out with him. You know, dropping into Matic's position. He really loves to attack, and he's got a great turn on him as well. Like, he doesn't mind turning and shooting on the instinct. So, you know, he's had 10 appearances for Netherlands as well.
You don't want VanDeBeek to be dropping too deep, because he loves to attack. So, you know, as much as you want, you know, Matic to rest up because he is getting on a bit, you don't want to see VanDeBeek dropping too deep either, because he loves playing around that box. And you've also got Pogba that likes to attack. Bruno loves attacking, but he's box to box as well. So it's going to be a good challenge for Ollie to fit all three into the pitch. So, you know, we were wondering how Bruno and Pogba would play together. Look, when you're playing with players of that quality, they all find their spot, don't they? And so, anyway, it'll be exciting. Look, it's brought everyone a bit of excitement from Man United now. So, just looking for another two, please. And yeah, it'll be good. I'm excited.
Right. So Adam, let me back you up with some statistics there. I think you've hit the nail on the head, because if you look at VanDeBeek's successful tackle rate compared to our midfielders right now, he is 2.2, which is lower than Matic at 2.6 and Fred at 2.5. And he's tied with McTominay as well. In terms of interceptions per 90 minutes, Fred, McTominay and Matic all are above him at 1.6, 1.6, 1.3, and he's at 0.8. So clearly, like Priyan said, and like what you're saying, he's developing into that role, but we rather just have him in the attack, and we rather use his qualities as to where he's... Because clearly there's another map that we put out on your screen right now that you all can see, is comparing Donny VanDeBeek to Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba, and it shows that how much of the similar areas are they occupying in terms of the touches they take, in terms of the passing percentages, in terms of shots on target. You can see that VanDeBeek's graph and Bruno Fernandes' graph is very much similar. And we saw Pogba playing a much deeper role last season as well. So it makes sense that Bruno Fernandes and Donny VanDeBeek are kind of the similar kind of players, and we should kind of harness that more than trying to develop him into something that he's not. So I think that's
right.
Yeah,
look, we've made those mistakes over time, haven't we? Over the last couple of years, where we're playing players out of position. You know, I don't want to see that anymore. I don't know about you guys, but I get sick of seeing that. You know, with our front three, I'd really like to see you know, Greenwood into the middle. I think he's established himself there, even though he's young. And you want to see players coming onto the ball. You know, push Martial out onto the left where he likes it, and even though he likes in at 9, I think he's more he's better over on that left hand side, and Rashford out on the right. You know, mix it up, and then, you know, maybe I still believe we need another. I know we're talking about VanDeBeek, but we still, in my opinion, we need an out and out striker. You know, and that's all, that just hungry for goals all the time.
Right.
We haven't had one of those for a few years.
Right. Dean, let me put a couple of statistics to you. In terms of the 1920 season in the Dutch league, with center midfielders who played 630 minutes plus, VanDeBeek ranked first in non-penalty goals, second in expected goals, 10th in shots on target, 10th in assists, 4th in terms of expected assists, 3rd in crosses, 1st in touches in box. He's got 175 touches in box, and he's won the most penalties. So what do you make of these statistics, and how many goals will Bruno score from the penalties he wins next season?
To be honest, I don't really look at the statistics, because the Dutch league is completely different to the Premier League, you know. So, you know, it's all good what he did last year, but it's about what he does when he puts that red shirt on, you know. Like, you know, Di Maria was one of the best players in the world, apparently, when he came to United, you know. There's been players that come and don't turn up, you know. And I think this kid, coming through the Ajax academy, he knows what he's in for. You know, he's got a lot of important people around him. His girlfriend's dad is Dennis Bergkamp. You know, like, if anyone knows the Premier League, he knows the Premier League. So, you know, I'm not a stats guy. You know, I think you've got to take the guy on his performances at Manchester United and not worry about the Dutch league.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Fair point. I think that's a very valid point, is because we've seen that players from the Dutch league that come to the Premier League, we've seen the likes of Luke de Jong, Simeon de Jong, Davy Klaassen. We've seen so many of these players come and fizzle out. Of course, we're hoping that Donny VanDeBeek is worth his salt and that does not happen to him. But as Dean said, that it's a possibility and we should not over focus or over micro size on his statistics in the Dutch league. Priyan, are there any weaknesses that you see in VanDeBeek's game, or what do you think of that?
I think statistically, again, his aerial ability is not very good, but I think that boils down to the fact that Ajax don't have a very aerial game. They play through the middle. And I think the earlier point which I mentioned, that he's not that experienced at the higher level of playing in that sort of central defensive role. So I think, again, I mean, he'll need time to develop into that role. Or I think for VanDeBeek, he is sort of the ideal backup to Pogba in his current position now that Pogba has the new role that Pogba has right now. I think it's he's very good going forward, VanDeBeek, and he has, as I think Adam mentioned before, that quick turn. He has that quick turn, so he can play that quick 1-2 with Bruno and sort of run into spaces. And I think that will be very helpful for United to break down defenses right now.
Right. No, I'm just going to there's another graph I'm going to put on the screen that sort of shows the comparison between VanDeBeek and David Silva. And again, you can see that what David Silva does, Donny VanDeBeek is doing something very similar here. And I think that is a very positive sign, because we saw what David Silva did in the Premier League, and a player like that could really bolster Manchester United's chances of winning. You can see that his through balls, though, are not that good, and that's something that he can work on. But Dean, I want to come to you and ask you, what does this mean for the likes of Fred, McTominay? Matic is quite secure of his place in terms of what he does, but what does this mean for Fred and McTominay?
Well, it all depends on those two players, to be honest. You know, like if they want to be part of a massive club like Manchester United, they've got to be prepared to work hard and earn their spot. You know, like as I said before, McTominay and Fred did an amazing job when the others were injured, but you know, they're not walk-up starters. So, you know, we've had players in the past that are quite happy to sit on the bench. You know, look at our manager, for instance. You know, like, you know, Chicharito did it for a certain amount of time, you know. But I think, you know, Fred and McTominay still have their place. You know, we want to go far in every competition this season. So there's going to be a lot of games. And because of the late season start, we're going to be playing a lot of games very, you know, after one each other. So it's important to have a good squad. And at the moment, we don't have a good squad. You know, look in that semi-final of the Europa League, like, Ollie didn't want to make a change because he looked at the bench and he didn't trust anyone. So, you know, I think there's a lot of with this signing, it can really be a big kick in the ass for those two players, you know. As I said, they do perform well, and, you know, Scott McTominay is a young lad, a local lad, and his physical ability is awesome, but, you know, Dutch players have it all in here, you know, technically they're brilliant and, you know, they read the game and, you know, I think they can learn a lot off him, you know, if you know what I mean. So, you know, there's all positive signings, you know, and, you know, Barcelona wanted him, Real Madrid wanted him. You know, if it wasn't for this pandemic, they probably would have had him. So, you know, there's a lot of good people out there that think this guy's good. So let's see it. Let's see it in a red shirt, eh?
Yeah. I think, Dean, you mentioned a very important point, because in the last minutes as well, Tottenham Hotspur and PSG tried to swoop in and tried to take him off our hands. But he said that the rumours are that he spoke to Ollie and he spoke to Van der Sar, convinced him to come to Manchester United. So it sort of shows the intent of United as a big club in the market as well in that sense. But Adam, I want to ask you an extension of what I asked Dean. What does this then mean for the likes of Andreas Pereira, Jesse Lingard and Juan Mata?
Jesse Lingard and Juan Mata. Now, look, Jesse's, there doesn't seem to be any movement, does there? So, you know, Ollie still has to get rid of some players, and you would think Jesse wants to play, and he's definitely not going to get a run for in the first side. So, you know, Juan Mata, I think he's good for the dressing room as well. Maybe, you know, how old's Jesse? 27, 28, I think he is.
Yeah.
So he's really got to look for a club. He's really got to look for a club. And, you know, as much as we've bought a player in, we need to be getting players out, you know, to pay for these players, you know. So, but look, I don't want to get rid of Juan Mata. I think Juan Mata's great for the team. I think he'd be great in the dressing room. And when you're playing these cup games, mate, the flair that Juan Mata's got is just, you can't buy that kind of stuff. You know, and I was disappointed when he never got on in the Europa. Look, you know, the game before that, you know, I'm all for Juan Mata. You need a player like that around the dressing room, and you need a player like that. I think you play him in the right position, and he always brings the goods, you know. So he's got so much experience. Like, what, you wouldn't want to get rid of that, you know.
I mean, Adam, I
for the
couldn't
younger players
agree more.
coming through, like Greenwood, you know, he'll thrive off Juan Mata, you know. So, you know, that kid, yeah, that's another story, isn't it, Greenwood? So that's another podcast.
Well, Adam, you know, I couldn't agree more. I am an absolutely huge Juan Mata fan, and I don't know how I kept saying this, bring him on, bring him on, bring him on, and Ole never did. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
again another, that's gone that's bygones be bygones. Let's see what happens in the
Yeah.
next season. What I want to ask you next is, Adam, what is the one thing you're looking from Donny VanDeBeek? What would you say is a successful season for Donny VanDeBeek at Manchester United, considering he might not be a starter?
Well, look, for Ajax, he had 10 goals, 10 assists in, I think, 32 games for Ajax. So you'd want to see him, even though the Premier League is a tougher competition, you still want to see him hit 10 goals, that's for sure. You know, you've got to warrant your price, and, you know, you're being paid well. You come to a big club, we expect goals, and we want goals. You know, 10 minimum. So, you know, you're not just turning up to collect your money and, you know, taking your laces off and going home. You know, I'm a massive 90s fan of Manchester United, and I love goals. And, you know, everyone does at this club. Everyone wants to see an attacking side, and I think Ollie's brought that back. We still, as far as VanDeBeek goes, he needs to score at least 10. That's for sure for me, you know, to warrant his price. And, you know, I want to see positive play. And when you watch his highlights, and I know highlights are all about how good they look, but he's always turns forward. He doesn't turn back, you know. And I hate when players turn back. I want to see players shift the ball forward and attack forward. I'd rather lose the ball shifting it forward than passing it back, and then we just knock it around the grid, around the back line. So for me, I want him as an attacking role. I want to see that ball shift forward. And I want Martial, Rashford and Greenwood to get a bag full again, and I think they can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think it's good.
I think every United fan is hoping for that. If Anthony Martial scores 30 goals this season, and if VanDeBeek can assist 10 of them, I think it'll be wonderful. Dean, let me ask you this. We've got the first signing of the season. Who are your next three players you think we need in this team? Do you think we need three players, or do you think we just need one or two more?
To be honest, I think we need an actual proper holding midfielder. You know, as I say, like, Matic can't play every match, and with all your stats you've just produced, you know, Donny VanDeBeek isn't the answer. So, you know, we need to get a holding midfielder. You know, we need another centre half. We need to sell a lot of players, to be honest. You know, we need another left back, because as soon as Shaw went out of the season, we struggled down that left side, you know. Brandon Williams, you know, good cover for Wan-Bissaka, but we need another left back. And, you know, realistically, we need another striker. But, you know, my priority would be another defensive midfielder and a centre half, because, you know, Lindelof is, you know, decent, but I don't think he's the right fit for Maguire. We need someone that has got a lot of pace, you know, next to Maguire, because Maguire's not the quickest. So, you know, but I think first things first, we need to get rid of, you know, Phil Jones. Where have they been all season? You know, Adam talks about collecting a paycheck. Those guys have been collecting a paycheck for 5-6 years. So, you know, I think they need to sell before we, you know, spend money. And, you know, getting money out of our owners isn't the easiest thing. So I think Ollie's got to do some business inside first and then work our way there. You know, we've been linked with that. I'm not even going to say his name, that Red Bull player. Let's call him that. You know, I've seen bits and pieces of him. You know, he's quick, but it's a whole different league playing in the Premier League. You know what I mean? So, you know, do we go for someone that's got experience in the Premier League, or do we go with someone young? You know, our squad is very young, and I think we need some more experience in the squad, to be honest. You know, that player between 26 and 30, I think we need, because you can't just have every single player being a young player. You know, like you got David De Gea at the back, or is it going to be Henderson? You know, if Henderson gets the same role, that makes our team extremely young. So, you know, we want to go really good this season. So I think we need some experience in the Premier League, not just, you know, players from other leagues, you know, silly leagues like what is it, the Austrian league and all the rest. You know, a good German defender, or, you know, someone like that who, you know, can lead us. You know, Aaron Maguire's had a tough off season. I hope he comes back stronger from it, you know, but he's going to be under a lot of pressure, you know. England captain, Manchester United captain, and, you know, with all the stories that were, you know, around him the last few weeks, it's going to be a lot for him. So he needs the right support next to him. And I think if you get an experienced defender next to him, that will help him a lot.
Right. I think I completely agree with you that we do need some experience in this squad. But let's just summarize as to what all we've spoken about today. I think Adam has made it clear, and so has Dean, that we're very happy with Donny VanDeBeek signing. And it's an absolute bargain for the price. We're expecting more attacking football from this Manchester United team with Donny VanDeBeek coming in. We've given you the statistics. We've compared him to our existing midfielders and shown his play style and what he does. We've done the same with a little bit with David Silva. We've done as to what we expect from him. So let's see what happens. We've also talked about what other signings we need to fill in the holes. So thank you for watching, guys. Thank you, Dean, for coming on. Do check out
No worries.
BMUS. They're doing some great work there. And do check, thank you, Adam, as well. And do check his MUSC New South Wales and Australia out as well. Also, for everyone who's watching for the first time, we are doing a jersey giveaway as well. Head over to our Instagram page. 3 lucky winners are going to win a jersey of their choice. Hopefully, you all are Man United fans, so it's easier for us to give you a jersey. But if you all are not, no worries. Go and check it out. We're also doing an FPL mini league of the United Star. Join that. The winner gets a jersey again of their choice. We're just giving away jerseys here for free, you see. And it was great to have you all, guys. It was an incredible discussion I think we've had. We look forward to the next season. Subscribe to our channel for all the of Manchester United, FPL, and all of that. And we hope to see you around, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks a lot, guys.
Cheers,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Thanks for having us.